welcome to the Comic Schtick Podcast, the podcast where comics are my shtick. My name is Blake T. Wild. You may also know me as Smokey's Videos. And after long last, I am back for another episode of everybody's favorite mediocre, shoddily put together comic book related podcast. Before I do get started, it's been a while. It's taking me a little bit to rev up my engine and get going here. I have some plugs, obviously, but it's not just about Destructo Boy issue 1. No. It is about Destructo Boy issue 2 and Destructo Boy issue 3. Count 'em, 3 issues of Destructo Boy. As you all know, if you've been watching my videos for a while, Destructo Boy number 1, which is in this hand, is the first of a 5-issue little mini-series I am doing, so I got 2 more issues left. These first 2 issues right here, I'm going to flip through the second one because you've probably seen this one, the first one, countless times. This is the first issue, this is the second issue, which is part 2 of the Era of Alpha Cardinal. I failed. Zephyrus Station is destroyed. It is about 25-ish pages, 30 pages, somewhere around there, 28 maybe, pages, fully created comic, written by me, illustrated by me. Everything you see here I did, aside from the printing. I paid somebody to do that. But these are now available on etsy.com/shop/BlakeTW. Make sure the BT and W is capitalized. And here is a little preview I have at the end for issue number 4. Number 3 and 4, technically. There you go, right there. So this is for sale. And issue 3 is for sale. And obviously issue number 1. Issue number 3 is part 1 of The Eclipse of Googleplex. This takes place several years after issues 1 and 2. Destructo Boy is now the greatest superhero on Zephyrus Station. He is a superstar. Everybody loves him. But on the eve of Destructo Boy Day, the evil, conniving... which way am I facing this? Scientist, the one man who hates Destructo Boy with all of his might, creates Googleplex, a massive titan of a robot built specifically to dethrone Destructo Boy from his place at the top. Will he? Get the issue to find out. Again, this is part 1 of 2. Check that out. Googleplex laying down the law on a renegade monster that escaped a giant space zoo. Among other things, every issue has a beginning, middle, end. And here's a little side storyline about some giant robot mechs fighting in the middle of the city. So there you go. Which way am I facing? There you go. There's the fight scene right there. And some more to come after that. Like I was saying, every one of these issues has a beginning, middle, and an end, even though they are a 2-parter for the first 4 issues. But you are getting your money's worth here, people. The reviews speak for themselves, and they are all great. Everybody who has gotten this loves it. So get yours while they're still available, because I don't know if I'm going to be reprinting these after this initial run is completed of them. Again, etsy.com/shop/Blake T. Wild. Issues are $9.99 plus shipping and handling. So if you already got issue number 1, you just got to pick up these 2. Wait on all 3, pick them up now, or wait on all 5. Probably wouldn't do that because it might be a while until the last 2 come out. But yeah, definitely check these out. What else? What comes with them, you might ask, is a free head sketch of any character of your choosing. So I'll do anything. I did a Korean pop star for somebody who placed an order with me one time. I can do any character, the Hulk, She-Hulk, the Thing, I don't know, Batman. I'll draw any character and I will include it here. If you buy 1 book, I'll just do the 1 head sketch included for free. If you buy 2, I'll do 2, and if you buy all 3 books, boom baby, you're getting a free head sketch in each one of these issues. just let me know who you want. There's going to be a little dialogue box that pops up when you do the checkout thing on etsy.com/shop/BlakeTWild. So check that out. 3 super fun sci-fi romps in every story. Here's the back cover. I don't think I showed you the back cover. This is Administrator Zal. He is in charge of everything that happens on Zephyrus Station. And, yeah, check those out. Really helps me out, really supports me. I am currently working on another comic book series, which I should have grabbed before I started this. This is going to lead into my first topic of today, and this is the Custodians. This is a little ash can preview comic. You can see this just like a better resolution on my Instagram page at NotBlakeWild. I posted this art and some other pages on here. This is a little ash can I handed out at a local convention. I was just giving them out for free. I printed up like 50 copies of them. I just cut them and stapled them myself, real cheap. But it's fucking great printing quality. I did this at Staples, and I was surprised at how good it looks. So yeah, if you need something printed, Staples is pretty good. So anyway, this is the first 10 pages of a new comic series I'm working on called The Custodians, which asks the question, what if the only people who can save the world was an intelligent baboon, a girl who can control fire, the world's smartest man who has the power of elasticity, but only in his right arm, and a 4-armed werewolf. Here's the little back page right here. And this is something that I am really looking forward to working on and completing. I'm about halfway through issue 1, which is about 60-some-odd pages, maybe a little less, 50-something pages. I'm not sure at this point, because I'm going to have to... the pages with panels on them are about 50-something. But I plan on making this a complete love letter to the Silver Age of comics. If you couldn't already tell, just look at that checkerboard right here. This was my influence from that, was this issue of The Flash. Old DC Comics always used to have that checkerboard pattern on the top. I love it. I love anything that has to do with the Silver Age. Here's actually a better example, is another Flash book, which has the... oh, wait, no, maybe not. I thought it was blue checkerboard, but it's not. It is going to be a full love letter to the Silver Age of comics, my favorite time period. And I am planning on doing full-on fake advertisement pages. I have everything already planned out. Fake letter column sort of stuff. Just everything I can to recreate that era of comics in this story. I'm planning on being 6 issues. That's what I have it written as. That's what I have it thumbnailed as. And that's what I'm working on currently. The way I see it is that I am an independent creator. There's no way of knowing if I'll get past the first issue on The Custodians. I hope there is. I'm going to try to. But I plan on having each of these 6 issues be about 40, 50 pages with 3, I guess, because it's a 2-parter. At least 3 different stories in each book, and they're very wide variety. They are just my love letter to comics and my love of comics just overflowing in here. Like I said, last year I wrote all 6 issues in the span of maybe a month, just because I was so imbued with creativity and just felt great about the story I was telling. But anyway, that is what I have going on, and I am also... in the home stretch of finishing the Crisis on Infinite Earths story video, the What Is. So expect that sometime soon. I am almost done with it. I know it's been like 5 fucking months since I've uploaded one. I apologize. I've just been really busy, and yeah. So anyway, I said that The Custodians was going to lead into my first topic, and that was the topic of YUMACON. I didn't really advertise it too much this year just because I didn't upload that many videos. But YUMACON is a local comic convention that I went to again this year. Last year I was invited out to it. This year I was like, hey, I'll try that again. That went pretty well. My stuff sold pretty well. This year it did not. And obviously I'm not going to blame myself for that because I'm a genius. But... It was disappointing. I'll be honest. It was very disappointing. I don't think I'm going to go back again next year unless they get something worked out. because from what I heard behind the scenes is that the big coordinator who has been running it for the past several years, they left. They were no longer on the job, and it was somebody completely new who has never done it before. And coinciding with that, the price of tickets went up to $20 per person. This fucking show is not worth $20 per person. Especially in a small town. You think people in a fucking small town are gonna pay $20 to get in and then pay fucking $25 for 3 of these issues is what I had the convention sale going for, or $10 an issue, $10 for my prints that I slavishly worked hard on. You'll be able to see those on Etsy sometime soon. I still haven't gotten the shipping products for those to send out, but I will be selling the 11 I will be selling the 11 by 17 and 8 by 10 prints that I made specifically for this show. It's DC Comics, Marvel Comics, anime stuff. I'm really happy with how they came out. But anyway, YUMACON. It was slower than it was the previous year, which I feel was in part due to the price increase, as well as last year was post-COVID immediately, so everybody wanted to get out and try stuff. And the attendance this year was just not as diverse as it was the previous year. It was a lot more anime-related, manga-related, specifically anime, I believe. And the main audience, seemingly, was children. It was teenagers and like younger kids, preteens. You know, the people who don't have money. Thankfully, I did $1 head sketches, so by the time I was done the 2-day convention, I was ready to go to the strip club. So I made some money there. I didn't make as much as I hoped I would, which, you always got to worry about when you're doing conventions, especially smaller stuff like this. But even going around, the good thing about there not being that many people, especially the first day, well, the first day was more, the second day obviously had less, was that I was able to speak to, other vendors at the convention. There's only one comic book vendor at this fucking place, and it's this local guy who has a great selection of stuff. He's been going to like San Diego Comic-Con for the past 20 years. Jay's Junk is what his business is called. I finished my run of 2001: A Space Odyssey through him, so he has a lot of great stuff. He was the only comic vendor there with like the actual long boxes and like the booth set up. Last year was like 4, maybe 5 in total, which is, it's not that many, but it's still pretty good for a smaller convention. But this year, it was just all, like, anime-related. And if you know me, I don't care about that at all. I'm not into it. I'm vaguely into manga. The only manga I own is Ashita no Joe, which is Rocky Before Rocky. And whatever the fuck this one is, I can't remember who created it, but it's like it's a war manga story. It was disappointing. I got a lot of excitement and interest about my pieces, but not so much about people wanting to buy them. I even had people grabbing these and then asking me to sign them. So that was nice. It's nice to get my stuff out there, but it was disappointing that I didn't, sell as much as I hoped to. I am working on hopefully attending Tucson Comic Con next year, which looks like a pretty decent step up from where I'm at currently. And then I guess I'll work my way up to Phoenix Comic Con, which is the biggest one in the state, and sell my wares there. Hopefully by that time I'll have Destructo Boy, all 5 issues of that out, and I will be further along with the Custodians, Agents of C.R.O.S.S. But until that time, I am currently stuck with YUMACON, I guess. Maybe, like I said, I don't think, unless, they didn't even advertise it very well this year, I feel. I don't know if I'm going to be attending again next year. I might if they give me a panel again. Because, if you haven't seen that video, check it out. That was the best part of the whole weekend was my panel called The Magic of Comics. Magic spelled with a K at the end, to trick people into going into thinking it had something to do with Magic the Gathering, which worked. So if you ever get the chance to have a panel at a smaller convention, I highly recommend you go for it anyway, just because, you can espouse your ideas or whatever, but come up with a name that'll trick people into attending it. But yeah, that was a great time. That was my favorite part. I had people coming up afterward talking to me. My favorite part about these past 2 years of attending YUMACON, because it's my first, this is my second year actually having a booth at a convention at all, is talking to younger people who are like, they want to create, younger creators. And I just really enjoy doing that. I've had people, younger, teenagers or whatever, come up to my booth, ask me to draw something for $1. And while I'm sitting there drawing their dollar sketch, they'll sit there and watch, or they'll ask me questions, or people will somehow know who I am because I won this contest a couple years ago, and that's how my books got printed. They're asking me about that. I was giving them advice, talking them stuff, whatever. That's just my favorite part, is I want to reach a level where I can, inspire people to be creative. And I am slowly getting there, because it is working. People really dug my panel, which I'm very glad that they did. But yeah, I think that's the saving grace of this past year, was getting that panel and just being able to speak about whatever I wanted to an audience that seemed to enjoy it. But moving on to the first very glum topic, and that is Kim Jung Gi's death. Kim Jung Gi, if you're unaware, Korean artist, I believe. Yeah, he was just fucking incredible. Same level of, I would say, Jack Kirby, in that he could just start at the top corner and just go down. Nothing. No guidelines, no pre-drawings, just off the top of his head, just genius creativity. And he surprisingly just shocked the artistic world when he passed away about a week or so ago at the time of this recording. And it's just such a shame, because my God, if you've ever seen him draw or seen his art, it is just outstanding. And it's just fucking hit me hard. I was like, oh my, I saw it and I was like, holy shit. It just came out of nowhere. And it's just such a it's disappointing that he's gone. It's very sad. Not as sad is that Alan Moore has decided to retire again. There's all this stuff. Oh, Alan Moore retires from comics, calls out the industry as a whole, blah, blah, blah. Same thing he's been doing the past 10 years. I don't know why so many people were pointing this out. I was going to talk about the Ant-Man series by Al Ewing. I have finally finished it, but I got a lot on my plate for this episode, so I think I'll save that for next time. Let's see, what is going on here? Oh yeah, there was New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con? New York Comic Con. So we got some news out of there. One bit that came out around that time was the Iron Man video game from EA. / Motive, I guess. EA is the publisher, Motive is the creator, I guess. It is going to be a single-player, third-person video game where you're Iron Man. That's all that we know about it. A new Planet of the Apes movie, which runs on the tried and true tradition of having as many words in the goddamn title alongside Planet of the Apes. It is now called Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So I hope it just continues to get longer and longer as it goes. I don't care. The only Planet of the Apes movie I've seen is the original. I never watched the reboot with James Franco or the 2 Matt Reeves films. That trilogy, never bothered with those, but this is seemingly a continuation of those 3 films. Moving on to some DC Warner Brothers bullshit. DC Universe Infinite Ultra launches, making DC's comics available 1 month after they hit the stores. And that just launched last week on October 10th. So that that is kind of giving Disney, Marvel Unlimited a run for its money. I don't use either of them. I don't use Marvel Unlimited. But I think that it's like a month or two, maybe 3 months at least, between when the issue comes out and when you're able to view it online. But goddamn, DC is making it a month after they're available for purchase in stores. And, you know, that's really fucking cool of them to do. I can't see any ulterior motives there. But it's... the scales don't balance out between what's happening with DC and what's happening with Warner Brothers. And that is because Discovery is ruining Warner Brothers. Final Space, which is a cartoon show, I guess, I'm not sure. Creator Olin Rogers confirmed that the series is becoming a quote-unquote tax write-off for Warner Brothers Discovery and will be gone forever from all channels after Netflix takes the series down internationally. So, pirate it and pirate it. Fucking download that shit to your hard drive, because you're never going to see it again. All physical copies of the series have been stopped in their production, I guess. Fucking Discovery is recreating the Disney Vault. That stupid bullshit that I always hated, even as a child. I was like, this is a stupid fucking idea, and you're assholes for doing it. Although I didn't say, you know, in that cadence. I wasn't as mature to say it that way. But just that alone, they're fucking tossing it away and locking it up so nobody can ever see it, like they did with Batgirl. Who in their right minds is going to want to work with Warner Brothers after this? Why on God's green earth would a up-and-coming creator or somebody who's already established go to Warner Brothers for their picture or animation or show or whatever, knowing that, hey, they could just pull the plug and chuck it in the basement and nobody would ever fucking see all of your and your team's hard work ever again? Why would anybody do that? Why would anyone want to work with that fucking company after this? Warner Brothers is going down the goddamn drain and into a garbage disposal made of spikes and serrated blades. But on the upside, we do have Doom Patrol Season 4 Part 1, and on a lesser high side, or upper side, Titans Season 4 Part 1. Neither of which bode well for HBO Max, because why else would they, or for those series in general? We know Doom Patrol Season 4 is the last one. I don't think they announced if Titans Season 4 is the last one, but it sure feels like it. And it sure feels like Part 1 and Part 2 are going to be some of the last things created for HBO Max before it gets destroyed into the Discovery bullshit machine. The Season 4 trailer for Doom Patrol does look incredible. I'm very happy and excited to see it. It's been a long time coming, and I look forward to that greatly. But again, I just do not look forward to seeing what happens to Warner Brothers and HBO Max. Blue's Clues. There's a fucking Blue's Clues movie featuring... It's Blue's Clues No Way Home. Blue's Clues into the Blueverse. Because it has the original host, Steve Burns, and Donovan Patton, who apparently plays Joe, and Josh Dela Cruz, who played Josh. If you're unaware of what Blue's Clues is, it's an American kids show. I assume it's American, it might be Canadian. Kids show, and it was about this little blue dog named Blue, and she would help her owner solve mysteries, basically. I watched it as a child. I'm sure plenty of people listening and watching this watched it as children. But it is a just nostalgia bait for people in my age range, I suppose. It details, let's see here, the streamer, because it's going out on Paramount Plus on November 18th, So get ready, if you're interested in watching it, you're either going to have to get a trial for the shitty Paramount Plus, a streaming service that barely works, or just pirate it. Blue's Big City Adventures sees Josh and Blue skidoo to New York City after Josh gets an audition for Rainbow Puppy's Broadway musical. There they meet new friends and discover the magic of music and dance following one's dreams, according to the official logline. The streamer describes the movie as a sing and dance along musical spectacular for the whole family, featuring all new songs and choreography with the show's beloved hosts and fan favorite animated characters. B.D. Wong, who for some reason this article listed him from Law & Order SVU, so unless it's a different B.D. Wong than the one in Jurassic Park, I don't know why they do that. Ali Stoker, Only Murders in the Building. Alex Winter from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Philippa Sue, who played Alexander Hamilton's wife in Hamilton. And Stephen Pascal, I don't know who that is, all make appearances. It looks ridiculous. I don't know, I wanted to bring it up. I'm not going to watch it. I don't have children. None that I know of. And I don't have that nostalgia for Blue's Clues. Let's see. Also, it's on Paramount Plus, and I don't have Paramount Plus. I don't give a shit. But I just thought it was insane that they're making a Blue's Clues movie with all three of the hosts. Moving on to another trailer, and that is the Mario Bros. Teaser trailer. It looks fine. It visually looks incredible. I could not believe that it was Illumination that's putting it together. Illumination were the people who made Despicable Me, right? Yeah, and the Minions movies, and that Sing movie with the animals that sing, all of which look terrible and cheap, but goddamn does this Mario Brothers movie look really good. Just, like, fucking, it looks beautiful. It looks really good. But, don't know about Chris Pratt doing his little Brooklyn accent, kind of. Jack Black's really fun as Bowser. We haven't seen Charlie Day as Luigi yet, I don't think. The main thing I remember from this teaser trailer was the penguins from whatever Mario game they're from. They were very fun. Never got into Mario. Never got into Nintendo at all, really, aside from the Wii Sports, I guess. So I don't have any care or, interest in this, I guess. Just like I didn't for the Sonic movies. So I'm not going to see it, but it looks really good. And I've seen everybody online complaining about Chris Pratt, obviously. I don't like Chris Pratt, really. He's gotten too big for his britches. He's starting to take up a role similar to The Rock, in my personal feelings. And that is, he just plays himself in every film. But you know who doesn't play himself in every film, for the most part? Well, I guess he kind of does, but he does it with more charisma. Is David Harbour in Violent Night. Violent Night takes the classic cliche of Santa being a badass murderer and redoes it again. But unlike Seasons or Santa's Sleigh, is that what one of them's called, I think? Where, it's an evil Santa who murders people. It's a slasher movie with Santa Claus. This one is Die Hard, but with Santa Claus. If you haven't seen the trailer, it is about this little girl, this uber-rich family who lives in this, big compound mansion place. She asks for, a radio walkie-talkie to communicate with Santa. That's all she wants for Christmas. Her parents get her a little toy walkie-talkie or whatever. And then on Christmas Eve, terrorists break into their home and hold them hostage for ransom or something. And so she gets on her walkie-talkie and calls goddamn Santa Claus. And Santa goes and just brutalizes these dudes. It's Die Hard, but with Santa. And I think it looks really great for what it is. It could have looked really bad and schlocky and cheap, but the fight scenes look really fun in the trailer. David Harbour's great in everything he does. And it's, it's a fun, dumb little premise for a Christmas movie. Moving on. I guess I'll briefly bring up that Christmas movie with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. whatever it's called. I can't remember. It's like a musical, maybe? A Carol? It's Christmas Carol, but with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. It looks fun, I guess. It's on Apple TV. I don't have Apple TV. I hate Apple. So I don't know if I'm going to watch it. Although I think some theaters are showing it as like an actual showing. So I might watch it if my local one does that. Hocus Pocus 2. I had to watch Hocus Pocus 2 with my fiance because she loves the original. I am ambivalent towards it. I never watched it as a child. I never created that interest in the film. So I did not care. I have seen parts of it. I haven't seen it all the way through, I don't think, the original. But I would scale both films on about the same level. Hocus Pocus 2, fun sequel. Not really a whole lot going on story-wise. It's pretty basic. Doug Jones is great as the dead guy. The part I liked the most was the opening, which is the three Sanderson sisters as kids. Because goddamn did those kids ham it up. Those were great actors, actresses, whatever. I really enjoyed that scene, although it felt like it went on for way too long than it needed to. Like, at a certain point, it felt like we were just watching like a Sanderson sisters prequel movie, and then it cuts to present day. But it's fun. If you enjoyed the first one, I imagine you'll like this one too. It's more of the same. Obviously, the actors are older now. I don't think there's that many allusions to the original film. I don't think anybody from the first one, aside from the three sisters and Doug Jones's character, comes back. There is a character that I really liked who's the magician guy, the black guy who runs the museum or whatever he did. He's like an occult collector who's obsessed with the Sanderson sisters. He was my favorite of the film. They rewrite, they don't rewrite it. They retcon it into saying that he was there during the events of the first movie, and like he saw like what happened from a distance or something. But other than that, it's not really a whole lot going on with the first film. At least I don't think. But yeah, it was fine. It was like 3 out of 5, I guess. I don't care. Moving on to a lot of Marvel looking stuff. Yep, this is a lot of Marvel, except for that one little thing I see down there about Black Adam. We'll get to that bridge when we get there. Marvel shakes up Armor Wars, reads this headline from a website I can't remember because I put this in my notes quite a while ago. If you haven't heard, Armor Wars, starring Don Cheadle, seemingly following the exact same premise of the comic, which is people trying to steal Tony Stark's armor and research and whatever. It is now being developed as a movie, as opposed to a series. So I wonder if that means that what they had as a series just wasn't working properly as a series. Like, I guess maybe there just wasn't enough there to warrant it being a show. But I am glad that it's still happening. I don't really care if it's a movie or not. If it is a movie, that just means that we get to see it more at one time, but it won't be as, stagnated, I guess. It'll be more concise just because they'll have to fit it within a probably 2-hour runtime. But that's cool because there aren't really a whole lot of movie announcements, it feels like, anymore. It feels like a lot of the stuff we're getting is just shows. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. Blade troubles. Hey, you having trouble with your blade? Try this sharpener. That was terrible. I don't know what I'm doing. Marvel's Blade loses director Bassam Tariq. And Jeff Snyder, who, he's like a business industry person. I can't remember who he is. It's been, like I said, it's been a while since I put most of this stuff in my notes. I said on Twitter that the Blade script is 90 pages long and had 2 lackluster action scenes. Mahershala Ali is frustrated and Feige is spread too thin. Blade casting application closed and says production has moved to spring 2023. So, I feel like they shouldn't have announced... Did they announce a deadline? Or did they announce a release date for this? I don't know. If they did, I feel like that was a mistake. But if you're unaware with how movie scripts work, typically the way they're formulated is that every page is a minute of film. So 90 pages coincides with 90 minutes. So it was about an hour and a half long film. An hour and a half long Blade film with 2 lackluster action scenes. 2 action scenes out of an hour and a half long movie, I don't think that'll fly in today's Marvel world. Especially if they're lackluster. So that makes me wonder what a lot of this film was. It might... Because I don't think there was really anything said that much about what... like anything else that happens in it. I think it was mostly just that from what I saw, unless new stuff has come out that I missed. But that makes me think that it was a lot more maybe mystery or character focused. Like, it was a lot more... well, just basically what I just said. More focus on Blade making his way, journeying through whatever dark underworld of monsters and whatever he comes across every day. Some stuff with Black Knight, I'd imagine, because I think they might be in the same movie. So maybe, one action sequence was them when they meet, and then the other is the big finale, is what I'd hazard a guess of saying. But it's good that they aren't continuing with it if they're not happy with it. Because I would rather them delay it and keep working on it, even though Ali is almost 50, I think. So he's getting up there in terms of what actors physically are capable of. But he seems like a pretty healthy guy, so I'm sure it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I'm glad that they are pushing it back so they don't give a substandard product. I'm glad they're taking their time with it and not rushing anything. Like DC. Speaking of DC... they didn't really rush this because it's been in production for about 20 goddamn years. And that is Black Adam. There's a new Black Adam trailer. And it has Superman. Spoiler alert, Superman's in the movie. He's the credits sequence. Sorry to spoil it. Superman is in this fucking movie, guys. Fucking Henry Cavill comes back to play Superman, and he's like, well. I haven't seen anybody as powerful as you before, big boy, or something like that. And I don't care. I don't care about Black Adam. Why does everybody now care about Black Adam? I know why. It's because The Rock is in it. And The Rock is everybody loves The Rock for some reason, even though he's a terrible actor who just plays himself in every fucking film. And people are getting their issues of Black Adam and Shazam and Captain Marvel, and they're selling them for exorbitant prices because of the speculator market. And I don't care. I don't give a shit about Black Adam. I cannot care less about this film. I don't think I'm going to go see it. I have no interest in going. My fiance has no interest in going. I'd rather see Shazam 2. Which seemingly The Rock has no interest in, because he seemingly wants to make Superman and Black Adam enemies. I don't care about Black Adam. I feel like the only thing I'm really interested in is seeing Dr. Fate in live action, in a big movie version of him, even though a lot of the magic they've shown looks like the mirror dimension from Doctor Strange. My guess is that Black Adam is going to kill at least half of the Justice Society, and there's only 4 of them, and one of them's Atom Smasher, and the other is Cyclone, and the other 2 are actual named characters that people recognize. So I think I know how this is gonna go. And that is that Black Adam is probably gonna kill the Justice Society. He's either gonna kill them all, Hawkman's gonna be the only survivor, or he's going to kill Atom Smasher in some way. He's going to kill Cyclone. He's going to kill Dr. Fate, and then the helmet's going to fly off, and then that way they can, if they want, I doubt they will, because ever since Discovery bought them, even before then, they've been making terrible decisions. They could have that newer Dr. Fate who's a teenager. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, who has, I think it might be a girl. I don't know. I haven't read it. But, they have, the blue hoodie and the Dr. Fate helmet. So, Dr. Fate's probably going to die, and it's going to get passed on. The helmet's going to fly away. And Hawkman will probably die and be reincarnated or something. Moving on to something else I don't really care much about, so why do I bring it up? I don't know. And that is Hellraiser, which is a Hulu thing now. It looks good. It looks fine. That's all I have to say about that. Hellraiser, I've watched, I think, like the first 4 of them. 3, 4, I can't remember. Watched a bunch of them a couple of years ago. There's no really point in watching them after the first one. The quality drastically declines between the first and the second. And it's just the same stuff all over again. Just, torture porn in a way, before torture porn was a thing. It's just exaggerated sadomasochism with weird little pale people with fucking their nipples clamped and rips torn into their mouth with hooks and whatnot. The ultimate pleasure is pain. But yeah, I've seen good things about it. Pinhead is a woman now, I guess. That's cool. Indiana Jones 5. Finally, I have reached something I am excited for. It is a leaked trailer, I should say, and it looks pretty goddamn good. It's by James Mangold. He's the guy who did Logan, so you know it's going to be great. We see, I wish I wrote more about this because it's been a while since I've watched it, but if I remember correctly, we see some stuff with Toby Jones. He's going to be in it. We see, who is it? It's Phoebe Waller-Bridge? Something like that. She's going to be in it as somebody. Don't really know. There's no real information come out yet, aside from there's a new one. And, what else happens? He's fighting Nazis. It's like flashback scenes to when he's younger, and current scenes, which are seemingly, I don't know when they would be. I'm going to assume it's in the 70s, because there's a scene where he and Phoebe Waller-Bridge get into a chase scene that goes through a patriotic parade. And if the Indiana Jones 4 was in the 50s, and because, it's seemingly, he's a lot older now, I'm going to assume this is in the 70s, and it's the bicentennial of 1977 is when I'm going to assume this is coming out. And if it is 1977, I bet there's going to be a Star Wars Easter egg somewhere in this movie, because there was a Star Wars Easter egg in the first one. There's a Star Wars Easter egg in the second one. I can't remember if there was one in Last Crusade or Alien Skull, but it's shiny. I don't remember. I don't think there might not be. I don't know. But I'd imagine, since it's 1977, bicentennial year Star Wars came out, that there's going to be like a poster for Star Wars in the background or something. And then everybody online will be like, "Well, aren't they going to talk? Well, how about Indiana Jones lives in the same universe where the guy on the Star Wars looks just like him," like they do for the MCU. Because for some reason, people can't wrap their heads around the fact that, hey, maybe in their universe, Mace Windu isn't played by Sam Jackson because Sam Jackson doesn't exist. Anyway, moving on to some possible Sony leaks. There is leaked footage of the Madam Web film set stuff. Oh, and it looks bad. But there's also some leaks about their upcoming works, productions. And these are El Muerto, which I believe is set to star Bad Bunny. The rapper, I guess, is what he does. And that is coming out. There's the Madam Web, which is seemingly set in the past, about Ezekiel Sims, I think is his name, the guy from the Spider-Man comic, where he also has the spider totem, but for some reason, and he befriends Spider-Man, and, they become allies, but for some reason in this movie, the rumors are that he wants to prevent Peter Parker's birth for some reason, and Emma Roberts plays like Peter's mother or something, and Julia Carpenter and Madam Web, or is Julia Carpenter Madam Web? I can't remember. They're trying to stop Ezekiel from doing shit, and it is a mess. And I'm only gonna see it because I love Emma Roberts. Kraven the Hunter. Not much has come out about Kraven the Hunter. I think it's been pushed back, if I remember correctly. Or I'm making that up. Who's to say? Sandman and Rhino is apparently a production that they are working on. Sandman and Rhino. If it's Thomas Hayden Church and Paul Giamatti, okay, that'd be pretty fun. I'll be honest, I would watch that. If it's fucking, it'd be like, I don't know, like Rain Man or something, but with the Sandman and Rhino. What movies could I say it's like? What's like a, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but it's Sandman and Rhino? You know, that's what Sony should just do at this point, is just take, like, you know, just classic stories like that, take genre stories, and just put fucking Spider-Man villains in as them. I did a whole podcast a couple months ago with somebody, my best friend Thomas, aka Highlander, I remembered his name this time, where we pitched Spider-Man movies, and pretty much a lot of our pitches were just this genre movie with this Spider-Man villain. And it works! Just do that! Morbius 2, thank God. And this is where it gets a little interesting. The Amazing Spider-Man, and there's also been fucking various rumors about Tobey Maguire coming back, maybe, in Spider-Man 4, but I haven't seen much about that, so I would take that with a grain of salt. I'd take all those with a grain of salt. Spider-Geddon, which is, oh my god. They're gonna fucking bring Tom Holland, they're gonna bring fucking the other two Peter Parkers back. If any, hopefully they'd bring back Thomas Hammond, I think, from the 70s, and the Silk TV show, which I spoke about several months ago, but it is still apparently happening, with the same girl who played Cindy Moon in the background of the MCU Spider-Man films. So yeah, Sony is just going maniacal and insane with their stuff, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to that Spider-Man and Rhino movie. Moving on. A lot of stuff about the Disney film release schedule. So, the untitled Marvel movie, previously dated for February 14th, 2025, got moved back to November 7th, 2025. I was like, where's my phone? But that's what I'm reading from right now. Avengers Secret Wars has been pushed back from November 7th, 2025 to now premiering on May 1st, 2026. And the untitled Marvel project, dated for May 1st, 2026, has just been removed from the schedule altogether. Let's see. I have a screenshot somewhere here, I believe. Maybe it's a screenshot, maybe it's a download. Haha, here it is. So this is apparently the Walt Disney Studios motion pictures release schedule. 2022 continues with Searchlight, Fox Searchlight, The Banshees of Inisherin, or however you pronounce that, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. You know, I'm just going to go by the Marvel stuff, because this has everything. This has, you know, every movie they're releasing, their whole production release schedule. So the final Marvel film that we have for this year is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever on 11/11/22. Next year, Ant-Man and the Wasp, February 17th, 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on May 5th, 2023. Indiana Jones 4, even though I said I was just doing Marvel, so ignore that. What is that? May, June, July? No, January. Yeah, July. July 28th is The Marvels, which is the sequel to Captain Marvel and the Miss Marvel TV show. Let's see, starring all three of them, Monica Rambeau, Carol Danvers, and Kamala Khan. And yeah, that's all that they have film-wise for 2023. 2024 is Captain America: New World Order, Thunderbolts, Blade, Deadpool 3. Wow. That just seems like a lot. Also, it says here that Deadpool 3 is being released through Disney rather than Fox or Fox Searchlight, which is interesting. 2025 now sees Fantastic Four on February 14th, 2025. Isn't that Valentine's Day? May 2nd, 2025 is Avengers Kang Dynasty. Is that right? Yeah. Then there are 2 more untitled Marvel films, an untitled Star Wars film, and 2026 heralds 3 untitled Marvel films and Avengers Secret Wars. And 2028 has Avatar 5, 20 years after the first one. So that is Marvel's current release schedule, primarily focusing on their Marvel stuff. So it's interesting. It must be so crazy just imagine being a fly on the wall during these board meetings of just people frantically moving stuff around and figuring out what production timelines they need to get this shit all done. What I'm looking forward to the most is Fantastic Four, which has Jeff Kaplan and Ian Springer to write the new film. They're the writers on it. They still haven't gotten a director for it yet. And Deadpool 3, which is set to release September 6th, 2024, starring Hugh Jackman. And Deadpool 3, a couple years ago or so, Ryan Reynolds tweeted out that in 2021, so just last year actually, that Deadpool 3 was going to be a, quote, road trip between Deadpool and Logan, Rashomon style, for real. Well, I mean, it's Ryan Reynolds, so can we trust him? Who knows? Ryan Reynolds, can we trust him? Rashomon, just look it up. I'm not going to explain. It's a great Japanese film by Akira Kurosawa that's told 3 different ways through the perspectives of 3 different people. So God knows what that means. I have seen people also mention that they could be doing something with Daken in Deadpool 3, which would be interesting. Daken, if you're unaware, is Wolverine's clone son. I kind of hope they don't, since they already did X-23. I don't know. I hope that they do bring X-23 back in some way by Daphne King. But, I don't know. I feel like that's a little too one note to go from Logan, which has X-23, to Deadpool 3, which has Daken. Marvel Zombies. Some news came out regarding that. And it is going to be 4 episodes. 4 bloody episodes, apparently. Kind of disappointing. I mean, I don't know what I expected. I assume that means that the episodes are going to be longer. I'd hope that's what it means. Like maybe an hour each episode, so it's 4 hours in total. Also, it is going to be animated, and from what we've seen, it seems like it's going to be following very separate groups in the zombie apocalypse. So maybe it kind of takes an anthology story aspect onto it. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means it's good or bad. Who knows? Cosmic Circus saying that Marvel's Nova is going to be a special presentation on Disney+. Special presentation in the same way of Werewolf by Night and the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. So what does this mean that Marvel's Nova is a special presentation? Does that mean it's going to be like an after-school Magic School Bus sort of like special? Is it like, what on God's green earth could they do to make Nova a special presentation? I guess it could be like an old 50s sort of B-movie sci-fi style, maybe that's what they're going with it. Possibly the biggest news out of this past week or so is that Harrison Ford is now starring as Thunderbolt Ross. Thunderbolt Ross, previously played by William Hurt in Incredible Hulk. He was also in Civil War. And he was in Black Widow. Yeah, that's what it was, Black Widow. I think that's all he's been in. Unfortunately, he passed away. I personally would have preferred Sam Elliott to come back because he played Thunderbolt Ross in the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk film, which, if you sort of watch them back to back, it's more or less the same thing that happens to the MCU version of the Hulk, just, different happenstances. The multiverse! But I honestly would have preferred Sam Elliott to Harrison Ford. I imagine they're about the same age. I'll find out. I know Harrison Ford is 80. How old is Sam Elliott?
78 years old.
Sam Elliott is younger than fucking Harrison Ford. And I think he would have just been a better role for it. I don't know. I wonder if, does Harrison Ford, does his contract with Disney, to make the new Indiana Jones, do you think it's had something specifically about the MCU? We get to put you in 3 MCU productions. Because we know that he's going to make his first appearance in Captain America 4 in 2 years, because that's 2024, I think. Right? Is that what I said? 2024 is the first appearance he's going to be in, followed by the Thunderbolts, where he will seemingly become Red Hulk. And then maybe one more? I don't know. But yeah, Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. What do you think about that? Other casting news is apparently Sacha Baron Cohen has joined the cast of Ironheart, and people are saying he's Mephisto. First, it was like, oh yeah, he plays a version of Dormammu, an avatar of Dormammu or something. But nope, now they're saying he is Mephisto. Sacha Baron Cohen, you'll probably know him mostly as Bruno or Borat. But he is an actual actor who is actually very good at his job, if you couldn't tell from Borat. In that he fucking tricks people into thinking he's an actual person, like in that America show that he did. That was just fucking insane. Yeah, he's a great actor. I wish that his version of the Freddie Mercury biopic was a thing, but unfortunately not. If this turns out to be true, that's cool. I don't give a shit about Mephisto. Just another thing I don't really care about. I never cared for Mephisto, I think, until I read the Ann Nocenti Daredevil run. And there he plays a pretty big role about a little over halfway through. The last quarter of it or so is just tons of Mephisto. But, yeah, he's just never really interested me. He's like, oh, he's the devil. I think it's because, I've talked about it before, but my earliest experience with comics and a lot of the more lesser-known characters of the Marvel and DC universe, primarily Marvel, was through this series called Twisted Toy Fair Theater. I would grab some issues, but they are on top of my bookshelf, and my big Hellboy figures sitting on top of them. But Twisted Toy Fair Theater had Mephisto, and he was just an idiot. So I had no respect for Mephisto ever when I saw him after that. But it does make sense for it to either be Mephisto or Dormammu, primarily Mephisto, because the Hood is in it, played by Anthony Ramos. The Hood, if you're unaware, he was this, street-level gangster guy who somehow gets his hands on a demonic hood and cloak, and it turns into a monster, and he has magical powers. He becomes, a demonic kingpin. He even goes on to work with fucking Doctor Doom, of all people, among other big-name villains. So, he's nothing to really, he's nothing to wave your hand at, I guess. He can be pretty powerful. Moving on. Wakanda Forever trailer. Looks great. I'm excited to see it. It looks like it's going to have a very different tone from what I, expected. At least the trailers do. I'm excited to see Namor. I'm excited to see if those Doctor Doom rumors are correct, in that Doctor Doom is the one orchestrating this battle between the nations and trying to steal vibranium or whatever. But the thing I am most excited for is to see Namor's little wings in motion some more. Because holy shit, I guess I never really thought about it because I've only ever seen Namor in comics. I don't remember him ever being in TV shows. And, comics, they're always drawn statically. You never see really the motion blur of Namor's wings when he's flying around. So seeing this dude hovering in the air with, hummingbird speed wings on his ankles just looks insane. And I can't wait to see more of Namor in the film itself. I know there's, I think there's controversy behind the actor who plays Namor, in that he's something going on with him politically, I think. I never heard of him before this, but I'm primarily interested in just seeing more of Namor's little foot wings. The Spawn movie. Holy shit, it's been like 3 years since we've gotten any actual Spawn movie news. And this is that Scott Silver, writer of Joker and 8 Mile, and Malcolm Spellman, writer of Falcon and Winter Soldier, oh, my doorbell just rang, are going to be writing it. Cool. Jamie Foxx is still attached. For a long time, Todd McFarlane was talking about how they want it to be like a Sam and Twitch movie, but Spawn is like sometimes seen, so it's not really a Spawn movie, it's sort of a Sam and Twitch movie, which I hope they can work out something better than that. But yeah, stay tuned for the next 3 years when we get the next update on Spawn. And finally, we reach the final topic, which is She-Hulk. Haven't talked about She-Hulk in, 4 weeks, I think? Last note I have on here is episode 6. So I'm just going to go episode by episode in my notes that I have, like usual. Episode 6 was a really fun premise. I really enjoyed the wedding plot line. That was fun. I loved Mr. Immortal. I was very happy with how they portrayed him. I don't care about Mr. Immortal in the comics. I don't think I've read anything he's really been in. So, I thought it was hilarious that he just fucking jumps out of a window. He just kills himself whenever he gets, he's in awkward situations. No Wyatt Wingfoot, however. Still no Wyatt Wingfoot. And the cliffhanger ending was great, and I love that Intelligentsia is Reddit. It's the content of, 4chan with the fucking exact same just build of Reddit, which is just really fucking funny. And Josh was the bad guy. I saw that coming. Oh, I wonder if people were shocked by that reveal, that Josh was a bad guy. I thought it was pretty obvious due to the lingering shot of he and Jen, and then the immediate cut to the villains preparing for to steal her fucking blood. I was like, oh yeah, Josh is a fucking bad guy. He's double agenting. Episode 7, my first note I have in here is all caps. I knew she shouldn't have trusted Josh, with about 5 exclamation points. I loved episode 7. It really felt like a John Byrne She-Hulk. I really loved seeing Emil Blonsky's private retreat and what he's done with the place. I love the nothing quotes that he has. They're quotes, but they're empty of any real meaning. It's like, make your goal a reality. Today is today. It's just nothing. Also, of course, Obama Stay, which is the best one. The funniest part of their little commune, all the villains together, Manbull, Wrecker. I like that Wrecker is there trying to better himself because he's just some fucking schlub. Manbull, the Matador guy. And of course, Saracen was the one who gets it right when he says that Josh was trying to steal her blood, and everybody's like, shut the fuck up, you're not... Shut up, that's not how that worked. And I loved the monologue by Jen about the imposter syndrome, essentially. I really liked it. I love this show. This is my favorite Disney Plus show. I say that every time, but this one is, it's gonna stay up there for a while, I feel. I don't remember what the next one is gonna be. I don't know. I don't know what the next Disney Plus Marvel show is, but I love this series. And right now, I just realized I forgot to talk about Werewolf by Night, so that will be our last topic, if I remember. There's the Dan Slott Easter egg, which is Slott's tow truck. And finally, oh my god, episodes 7 and 8, Jesus Christ, the endings of both of them just made me feel so horrified and disgusted and revolted just by the Josh reveal. I knew it was coming. I was just like, oh my god, I feel fucking awful about this. Because him taking that photo of her while she's sleeping, it was just so invasive and just... It hurt me on the inside. I felt terrible. Because that's something that fucking happens. There's fucking insane dudes who do that. But, oh my god, just... how much he used Jen, and then he had like hacks her phone. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty bad. He slept with her to get access to steal her phone records or whatever. And then he takes a picture of her and posts it online. He's like, check it out, I banged this fucking slut Jen Walters. And I was, oh my god, I just felt so disgusted by what was happening. If I have a daughter, I'm gonna show her this show and be like, this is why you don't trust men, honey. Episode 8, Leapfrog. He reminded me of Kick-Ass, especially that scene in the parking lot. It was great to see that Matt Murdock is back, and we learned that the Sokovia Accords were repealed. And because as they were discussing, the whole Leapfrog thing, I began wondering how does vigilantism work in the MCU? And I guess that sort of explains it, kind of. Matt says we work pro bono, which means that Foggy's coming back. Who else would it be besides Foggy? There's a great Raimi suit-up sequence, and Daredevil is so fucking slick. I missed seeing him on screen, and they even play the Daredevil theme, and I love Matt. I love that he's finally leveled out personality-wise and emotionally. He's actually smiling and seemingly happy, he's finally accepted his role in the world and life. He's not gruesomely just scowling and depressed all the time like he was in the first 3 seasons of Daredevil. He's had time to grow as a person. And, his colors are brighter now. It's like in Darwin Cook's New Frontier. There's that whole bit about Batman being this dark, scary monster. And then the one time that he tries to save this kid from an evil cult that's trying to kill the kid is too afraid to go to him. He's like, here, son, let me help you, or whatever. And the kid just freaks out because Batman's just a fucking faceless monster with giant, seemingly horns coming out of his face. And it's after that he adopts the persona of, brighter light gray, blue on his costume, yellow chest emblem. He has Robin here to keep him, from going too dark. And that just resonates with Matt Murdock. He must have realized that he's scaring criminals, but he's also terrifying innocent people, and he doesn't want that. So his personality changes to what we see now. He's happier. He wears brighter colors now, with the yellow and the red, which fucking looks great. It looks so fantastic. I don't know, the first, that last little clip of the Season 1 Daredevil suit, it was alright. Season 2 and 3 looked great. And this one looks really good. I was hesitant about seeing the yellow Daredevil costume, but I think it looks so fucking good. My god, when Leapfrog jumps out of the window, there is such a meaty crunch sound effect. Holy shit. Of course, I love that Jen and Matt just fucking bang the shit out of each other, and Matt's walk of shame with his shoes in his hands. And oh my god, I love that, just the ominous nature of the swelling of Jen wondering why the episode hasn't ended yet. That was really cool. And finally, again, the sickening ending I got at the end, where they just post her sex tape for everybody to see. Sex tape that she did not know about. And the armed soldiers with sonic cannons. What was that? What sort of setup was that? Because they are there immediately. Were they just on standby? Did somebody, purposefully call them there, and so they got there at the right time? Because they had the sonic cannons, the same ones from Miss Marvel and Hulk film. But I don't know, I feel like there's some unexplained stuff about how they got there so quickly, those damage control guys. And finally, She-Hulk episode 9. I loved it. Loved the Bill Bixby intro. It was depressing about just how screwed over Jennifer has gotten. I was just like, oh my god, this is just sad. I loved the episode. It was a great finale. Like I said before, the 9-episode, extending this to 9 episodes really worked so well in the show's favor. I loved Emil's self-published book. It's just as cheap as you can get. There's no backside, no material on the back. It's just it's just the cover with a photo of him with a Photoshop filter poorly applied to it, basic typeface, just stitched along or stapled along the sides. No ISBN number, no barcode on the back, just print on demand, style of publishing. Pug is great. I hope season 2 has more Pug. I loved him. If you don't know who that is, he's the shoe sneakerhead guy that Nikki hangs out with. He's the other lawyer at the business. He is fucking just fantastic. He's the most handsome guy out of that whole incel party. So I was like, oh my god, he's gonna stand out like a sore thumb. The make sure you refer to women as females joke. Well, I say it's a joke, which it is, but it's also true. Oh my god, that was just fuck. I love this show. That one really got me. I was shocked that it was being held at Emil's place, because as Pug is walking around talking to these incel fucking weirdo loser guys, I was like, what the fuck? This looks familiar. This barn looks really familiar. And then I started noticing the quotes on the back, and I was like, oh my god, is Abomination part of this? No. I'm glad that he wasn't. I'm glad that he was vaguely aware of what was happening. It was more that he just got paid for the speaking arrangement of being in the Abomination. He was, because he gets vague enough information. He's like, hello, I hear that you're all working to better yourselves. That's fantastic. I did that too. Let me give you a self-help speech. Something like that. He was unaware of what was really happening. And I love that he protects Jennifer as well. I really like that, he has turned around. And he is just using the Abomination to just sell himself. He's not fucking robbing banks or killing people anymore. He's just doing it just to make money and support himself. I didn't realize Abomination was that big. When he and Hulk go head to head, holy shit, he's fucking double the size of Hulk. What was their size difference in the original the Incredible Hulk film? I think Abomination was bigger, but I don't think he was that big. So he definitely has grown within the past almost 20 years or so. The fourth wall breaking was fantastic. It is just like the scene. There's a scene in the Byrne comics where She-Hulk and I think Wyatt Wingfoot, who still never showed up in this fucking show, I think it's him. She gets annoyed with the story and she's like, okay, let's just get to the end here. And so she rips open the pages and they run through the ads of the page and get to the end of the book. Kevin, his little hat that he has, the little hat brim, like Kevin Feige, was fantastic. The X-Men joke was fantastic. Again, Tatiana Maslany is such an expressive actor. She's just incredible. Her smashing Matt Murdock, of course. I'm glad that Matt did come back for this finale. It was fun seeing him back again. I like that he just drops out of the air like Hulk does. Before she rewrote him. I am disappointed. There's one thing that I am disappointed about. And that is that Todd, a.k.a. the Hulk King, I called it. Hey, that's one thing I got right about this show, was that I called that Todd was going to be the bad guy of it. I'm disappointed that he wasn't Gremlin. I was hoping he was going to take the serum and then he was going to, malform into a gross little gremlin monster man. But no, he was just like a weird little sort of schlubby, weird, roided out Hulk man, and then he gets reverted back to his normal form. So that was a bit disappointing. I was hoping he'd be Gremlin, even if it was just this one-off thing. Because who gives a shit about Gremlin? He's a little Soviet monster man who creates mechanized Hulks. Scar. We fucking got to see Scar, who, I wonder how much space alimony Hulk has to pay. So that was cool, setting up World War Hulk. Neat. I wonder who... I don't know if they said who's playing him. I wonder if, like, who that is based off of. I wonder if it's a similar thing to what they originally did with Thanos. I bet it's not, just because we're at that point in the MCU where they have everything so planned out. So I imagine Scar is going to look similar to, at least facial-wise, his countenance is going to look similar to what it was in this show, and into the next time we see him, because I imagine it's going to be the same actor they're basing it off of. And how fucking insane is it that we're getting Daredevil and the Hulk in the same place? Like, they don't share screen time on camera, but they're in the same place. They're fucking talking about each other. Daredevil's like, oh, hey, yeah, your family's quite interesting. The fucking Hulk is standing right over here with his alien Hulk son. And Daredevil's sitting over here. How insane is that? I love it. I loved everything about this finale. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great. I liked the little Carmitage callback joke where Wong breaks out Emil. We didn't get to see Madison again. That was a little disappointing. I was expecting her to come back during the credits, but no. Fucking all-around great show. I loved it. Favorite Disney Plus Marvel show. Excluding Werewolf by Night, because it's not a show, it's just a one-off thing, I'm going to say that She-Hulk is number one, followed by Hawkeye, WandaVision, Loki, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight. What else is there? I know there's Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know there's What If. But I don't remember if there's any other ones. I'll say Falcon and Winter Soldier and What If. That's my ranking currently. If I missed one, I don't know. Just put it between Falcon and Winter Soldier and Moon Knight, I guess. Or Miss Marvel, whichever one I said. I think I said Moon Knight last. Although, it's the same. It's my same problem with ranking the MCU films. Is that some of them I really, really love. And some of them I just really love. Like, there's no real bad MCU movie to me. They're, like, Thor the Dark World is usually like, oh, that's the worst one. Although a lot of people hate Eternals, too. I really liked it. But there's, like, even the worst of the MCU films are still entertaining. So I feel like when I'm listing them, after like maybe the first 3 to 5, all the other ones are sort of on the same level as one another in terms of how much I enjoyed them and where I'm ranking them at. So it gets kind of difficult. But I will move on to Werewolf by Night, which I did not write down. Did I? I don't think I wrote any notes about it. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. My only gripes with it is that, one, Elsa Bloodstone's not a redhead for some reason. Made her a brunette. And 2, it wasn't in 4:3 aspect ratio, which I was hoping it would be. 4:3 aspect ratio, it'd be like, let's see if I can line up correctly. It'd be like about this. Everything on the sides of my arms, this way and that way, would be black, and then it would just be this space right here. It's like the Zack Snyder Justice League film. It's what it would have looked like if Werewolf by Night was actually made in like the 40s. It would have looked like that. But, that's fine. Apparently Kevin Feige really fought against it being in black and white to begin with. So if they got it in 4:3, that would have just been insane if they could have done that with the backlash. Not backlash, that's not the word I'm looking for lack of better terms, backlash that they received from, executives. Primarily Feige, I guess. But I really enjoyed it. As soon as it ended, I wanted more of it. I really enjoyed the actor who plays Jack Russell. And I really liked Man-Thing. Or Ted. Which, that leak that I read a couple weeks ago, or a couple episodes ago, was kind of right. Because, Ted is short for Theodore, and the leak was saying that they called him Theo. I like Theo better. I feel like it works better. But I really fucking loved it. I loved everything Halloween and horror related. If you can't see from my shirt, it's a Star Wars Halloween shirt. So I really enjoyed it, and holy shit, it was so gruesome. I imagine if it wasn't in black and white, it would not have been as bloody and gory as it was. Like, god damn, it was like, was fucking hardcore than what I was expecting. Fucking Man-Thing's burning people, Elsa Bloodstone's chopping off people's hands and shooting them in the chin with arrows. Fucking Werewolf by Night is just mauling dudes in hallways. It was fantastic, and it looked great. Oh my god, I love the makeup for the werewolf. I was blown away by how great it looks. It looks like a wolf man. Werewolves have, been overtaken in the pop culture zeitgeist as being big old wolf monsters, and I've done it here too with my four-armed werewolf. But there's something about the werewolves that don't have like the snouts and like wolf features, and it retains that humanity. It emphasizes the man part of wolf man, and I really liked that. I really loved this. I want more of it. I need more of this kind of stuff in here, and I wish that Disney and Marvel went in this direction of experimenting more with their properties, but I know it's not going to happen. I know it'll just be one-off things like this, which is so unfortunate. One thing I did have thoughts about is at the end, when we see Ted and Jack Russell camping out in their little camp in the middle of the woods. Excuse me. And, Jack comes out of his little, like, lean-to thing. There's a payphone in the background, which I was questioning. Why the fuck is there just a payphone in the back? And then I started thinking, I don't think I saw anybody use really, like, there's no defining characteristics of technology in this special. There's the guards who have, like, fancy suits of armor and cattle prods. There's the wind-up corpse fortune teller box, which is such an incredible idea. I love that so much. I want that to happen to me if I die. But, like, there's really nothing to say on whether or not... Like, there's no defining characteristics... There's no defining characteristics of when this is taking place, at least not from what I remember. I've only watched it once. I need to rewatch it just because I loved it so much. But, like, does that mean that this is set in the past? Is this set in the past, like the 90s or earlier? Because, like, Elsa Bloodstone, she has the Bloodstone. That doesn't mean she doesn't have to age. Whatever. Jack Russell, fucking werewolf lycanthropy magic. He doesn't age either. He looks the same as he did 40 years ago as he does now. Who's to say? Or does it have something to do with the fact that Man-Thing is chilling there? Because Man-Thing, if you're unaware, for some god knows reason, is, like, the protector of, like, portals to the multiverse. That's how Howard the Duck gets to the 616 universe. He falls through this wormhole portal that leads him to, like, Man-Thing's place in the middle of the swamp. There's just this, like, nexus of realities where, like, reality is crumbled in on itself, and if you stick your hand this way, it'll pop out this side into a different universe, or basically like that. It's like a wormhole in the middle of this swamp that for some reason Man-Thing just inexplicably guards. It's like, does it have something to do with that? Because there's a lot of more little, like, weird tchotchkes and shit just laying around. So is this just, like, stuff that's come through the portal of worlds? Like this wormhole? Or is this saying that it's in the past? What do you think? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. And that brings us to a close at an hour and a half or so. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I'm sorry for not getting stuff out. I've just been so busy and so fucking tired all the time. I've been trying, guys. I've been trying. But, again, if you want to show some support, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, at NotBlakeWild and at Smokey's Videos, and pick up issues 1 through 3 of Destructo Boy on sale now for $9.99 plus shipping and handling. Every issue comes again with a free head sketch of every or any character of your choosing that you want will be included. I will also be signing and autographing each one that you buy. Like I said, if you buy all 3, then you'll get 3 head sketches in one. if you just buy 1, you'll get the 1 head sketch, it'll be included, or 2, you'll get 2, blah, blah, blah. Check them out. Issue 1, Era of Alpha Cardinal, Part 1 of 2. Issue 2, Era of Alpha Cardinal, Part 2 of 2. And Issue 3, The Eclipse of Googleplex, Part 1 of 2. Issue 4, obviously, will be Part 2 of The Eclipse of Googleplex. And Issue 5 is something special called Grimlax, the Astro Knight. He is who he battles, Destructo Boy battles. So check these out. It's just fun little sci-fi romps. I'm cramming as much just weird sci-fi ideas into each issue. Like I said, beginning, middle, and end. These aren't written for the trade, people. These are 100% standalone kind of stories. Standalone in that you can read each issue, but, the storyline carries over. So check them out. Etsy.com/shop/BlakeTWild. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.